All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back for another episode of the Authority Project. And we have my new good friend here, Kunle Olomofe, on here. And he's going to tell us, he's going to show us what he says is called the Bridge to Sales Blueprint. And you're going to help us with, building our authority and all these great things for us today. Is that correct, though? Can you do that for us today?
You definitely can. I can do it for you today, and you can do it, for yourselves as well going forward.
Awesome. I love it. Well, let's see what he can do for us today. We're going to find out here on this episode of the Authority Project. All right. We're back here. I kind of chuckle when I say this to like most of my guests already that I'm going to let you do all the talking, but for real, I'm going to let you do all the talking.
Well, I know you're a little tired. You were telling me that, but I got to tell you, you might end up doing a lot of talking yourself. You'll find out. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. So before we start, please tell us, first of all, about you personally and then professionally.
All right. I like to make this really quick. I don't think people really care about that much, but I'll give you a brief. I'm a Nigerian by birth. I moved to the US about 2 years ago, for personal reasons. And I found what is truly the land of opportunity here. I've been building my businesses online, 90% online since 1999. I started, way back over 20 years ago. And so I know a lot more about digital marketing than most people, probably will for a long time. We started around the same time when Google came on board. And, we've been on, I've done some really great things. I've had really fantastic losses. And so I've learned from both sides of the coin. And I know how to teach people how to avoid those same mistakes. That's just the basic thing about me.
Awesome. I love it. So tell us what is this bridge to the sales blueprint?
The bridge to sales, right?
Sales,
so the most important part of that title is the sales part. Okay. When people talk about authority marketing, authority building, authority positioning, they usually don't talk about how to turn that authority into sales. You go out, you do a lot of, public speaking and all of that. You write books. How do you convert that into sales? Very important. And one thing that I noticed, building my businesses over the years, and especially online, is that, like you and I are talking right now, we're in two entirely different cities, probably two entirely different states. And there's people watching us in entirely different countries. So you're not always so connected to your audience in close proximity so that you can talk to them and they can see you or they can hear you. And if you are in any market space, almost any market space, you've got a lot of competitors, or at least one or two. So you got to be able to talk to people who are far away from you and not just online, but, not in your local area. You got to be able to talk to people. And you got to be able to say it in a way and loud enough that they can hear you, right? Above what your competitors are saying or doing. This is extremely important. And a lot of people don't understand how to do that. It becomes, sort of like a weight on them and they don't know how to solve it. So I built something called the bridge to sales. And what that means is that you take a sort of an example of trying to get across from one side of a body of water to the other side of that body of water without touching the water, without drowning, without sinking, without, getting yourself into trouble. So you build a bridge over the troubles and you get over to the other side where the sales are. That's the concept of the bridge to sales.
Okay. So I'm just thinking right now just about the water because I can't stand water. Okay?
Right.
I can't swim. Don't judge. No judge. Don't judge me.
Can't swim either. So that makes two of us.
How did we get over? And I feel like this is a spiritual song already coming through. How do we get over these troubled waters
of
getting this bridge over to the sales? Because that's something I'm sure that everybody
That's
A lot
right.
of people that I'm actually talking to right now
Mm-hmm.
are trying to figure out how to get either their first sales or
Yep.
just sustainable sales.
Yep.
How do we get there?
Good question. So I'm going to get right into that question, but then I'm going to say this first: is get your first sales entirely different from getting consistent sales. Those are two entirely different strategies. And I'm going to, if I can remember after I give you my spiel, I hope I can remember to get back to it. If not, hope you can remind me. Anyway, so let me get right into it, okay? Because I know people are busy and they want to know what's going on. So the first thing that you need to do before you start authority marketing, before you start positioning yourself as an authority, before you start trying to go out there to get sales, this is very important. You have to be in a high demand space. There's a lot of people who don't get it. They come up with what they think is a great idea for a product or service, and they want to get sales. The question is it a high demand space? Do you have a demand for your product? Is it out there? The SBA, the Small Business Administration here in the US, states that 47% of small businesses fail because they are in low demand spaces in the United States. That's hundreds of thousands of small businesses. So there's a lot of people that go out there, try to sell something that nobody wants or few people want, or there's too much supply for there to be enough demand. And so that becomes a problem. You can't build authority when nobody wants what you're trying to sell. So that's the first thing. You got to be in a high demand space. The second thing is, and when you come up with, okay, I'm in a high demand space. Now I want to get into that space, and people can hear me, people can see me and want to buy from me. You got to remember this. Once you start that call and you start putting yourself out there, you better be able to put your money where your mouth is, because people are going to come and buy. And once they buy, if the quality is too low, you just put yourself out there to be entirely disgraced. You don't want that. So you got to make sure that whatever you're going to be putting out there is of the highest possible quality, at least on your standards, on your level. Okay. Extremely important. The two first things you got to do. The third thing you got to do, and this is what I rarely hear people talk about this anywhere. And that is, when you're trying to build authority, and you talked about it just before we came on, I'm going to refer to that in a second. When you talk about building authority, you have to understand that this isn't authority for like 3 months or 6 months or a couple of years. No. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to build this authority, you build this brand into an authority for 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years, 200 years. Are you thinking that far into the future? Because here's the problem. If you're not thinking about what the legacy is, that what you're trying to achieve, your authority building will be wasted. Now you have to start it all over again every time you start a new business. Okay, so those three things are extremely important. I want to say this quick anecdote before I jump into the actual blueprint to sales, bridge to sales blueprint. Here's the thing. There's a company called Guinness. It's an alcoholic beverage. And when the creator of Guinness set up to launch his company sometime in the 1800s or 1700s, I don't remember which century it was. But when he set up to launch his company, guess what? When he went out there to lease a property to use, for business, he leased it for 900 years into the future. That was how he put down. He signed a contract for 900 years into the future.
Wow.
How many people would ever do anything like that? And if you go out there, you check the alcoholic drinks out there, Guinness is still one of the top ones as we speak today, since like the 18 or 1700s. So you got to be able to look into the future as far as possible to build great authority for that future. Now, having said all of that, there's three major things you got to do before you start. Let me get into the bridge to sales. Like I said, it's like building a bridge. And like you said, build a bridge over troubled waters, right? The troubled waters is nobody's buying from you. Few people are buying from you. You're struggling to get the word out. You have to spend so much money on advertising, trying to figure it all out. I mean, we could go on for like half a day on the troubles that we face, and we all face it. And that's another important thing is you don't look at a Facebook or a Google or a Yahoo and think they don't have the same problems we have. Believe me when I tell you, virtually every business has exactly those same problems. Okay. Otherwise, they wouldn't have marketing departments. Otherwise, they wouldn't, have branding departments, right? So you got to be able to figure out what the problems are to get across the water. So here's how to build that bridge so you get over. The first thing you want to do when you've done the first thing, like I said, is high demand space, great quality products is second thing, long-term longevity, legacy is the third, right? So when you get all that right, the first step to building the bridge is that you want to become visible. Now, I see a lot of people on social media, they have no idea how to use it the right way. And I'll tell you what I mean. They got a great product, they got a great idea, they got a great service, whatever it is they got. They go on to their personal profiles and they post up and say, I got this great product. It's $5 or $50 or $500. Come and buy it from me. I see that every day. And what you're not really looking at is a lot of people are not on social media to buy anything from you. If they're in your personal circles, they're there to, share cat videos with you and stuff and, and talk politics. I mean, that's what it is. That's what's going on. They ain't there to buy from you. So what you want to do is you want to be visible. And when I say visible, I talked about competition and the fact that you're far away from your audience and nobody can hear you when you talk or they can't see you. You got to first, come out, do something that they will take notice of. Don't talk about your products or services. Don't talk about what you sell. Nobody cares what you sell. What they care about is why they are on social media or why they are online or why they're going out to a restaurant or why they're driving by someplace. They don't care about you. So what you want to do is say and do things that they will care about. Get their attention. It's extremely important. I like to use an example of the rappers. I don't know if they still do this today, but I remember the rappers growing up. They would, a rapper would hunker down in his bedroom and try to figure out, put a song together, make a great song, make a great rap song. And then next thing you see, he's down on the street corner, handing out mixtapes.
Yeah.
He ain't trying to sell those mixtapes if he has any brains in his head, because ain't nobody gonna buy it. Right? He's handing them out for free because he's got to get people to hear it. He's got to get visible first. And a problem that a lot of people face is when they're trying to become visible and handing out free stuff, that's all they're thinking about. They're not thinking about how that is a bridge to sales. They're just thinking, I'm going to hand out as much free stuff as I can, and they keep piling on the free stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying give everything away for free, but you got to give quality stuff away for free. It got to be as regular as you can, but don't give your best stuff away for free. That would not make any sense. Okay. So that's the first thing, is you got to be visible. The second thing you got to do when you're building that bridge is, again, I'm going to use the rappers as an example. A rapper isn't a rapper if nobody knows about him, right? A rapper isn't a rapper if his music isn't, being played on the radio. If his music isn't being played down the block, like 10 blocks away from where he's at, right? Yeah. The second thing you want to do is you want to become famous. Now, I got to explain what that means. I'm not talking about getting on CNN or MSNBC or Fox. That's not what I'm talking about. That's rarely going to happen for most people. But what is extremely interesting is we live in an age now where you have like podcasters coming out of the woodworks. There's podcasters everywhere. There's YouTube channels popping up everywhere. There's tons of people who have either a small audience, a large audience, medium-sized audience, and they're looking for content. It's one of the reasons I'm on here today. It doesn't matter the size of the platform. What matters is it a good platform for you? If it's got one a viewer or 10 or 500 or 5,000, you got to start somewhere. And a lot of people forget this. When they come out, they want to come out and be the biggest and the best on day one. Even Facebook wasn't the biggest or the best on day one. They had to work to get there. So look, it's all about what your value system is. You got to be able to appreciate how things grow naturally over time. Okay, so you want to become famous? Tell you how to do it. It's really easy to do. Get yourself on 30 podcasts in 30 days. One every day. Boom, 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 boom. Before you know what's going on, there's a lot of people asking, who's that who's that? I keep seeing this person. I saw them on that platform, and I saw them on that platform, and I saw them on that platform. Looks like they're a little bit more special than you are, but people are taking notice at that point, right? And gradually, what happens is when you keep putting yourself out there and you keep putting out good content, somebody on a bigger platform is going to notice you. Eventually, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, now you have all these compilations of interviews that you've done over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days. You put that together in a portfolio and you step up to a CNN and you tell me if they ain't going to bring you on board. That's the way it works, but you got to build it up from scratch, okay? So you got to be visible. You got to be famous. The third thing is you got to have your own authority platform.
Yeah.
See a lot of people out there, like I just said, get on as many platforms as you can. Get on as many social media profiles as you can in terms of friends, family, whatever, business partners. But the problem is people are going to want to connect to you. Eventually, they're going to want to come to the source.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When you start becoming famous or you're trying to become visible, you don't have to have an authority platform at that point. Let me explain this. So I was coming on here today. I'm launching a new business in the US. Like I said, I just moved here. So I'm launching my new business literally today, right? We're working on the website. We're about to, putting finishing touches to it. You know how it is, and put it out there. But the site isn't ready for people to visit. I'm not ready to talk about it, right? But I'm coming out and I'm talking. I'm putting my face out. I'm putting my name out and talking about it. Important thing that you need to understand is every time you go on air or you go out, you make a blog post or whatever it is you're putting out there, you're giving freebies away. You don't always have to link back to you. I know that's contrary to popular advice. Oh, you got to put your link everywhere. You got to talk about your brand everywhere. No, you don't got to do that. There's times when you just give things away and let it build over time. Give things away and just be generous. People who give generously without asking to receive usually receive a whole lot more than people who have an agenda. And that's the problem with marketing is a lot of people have an agenda. They're trying to sell you something. So they're going to be coming at you like, look, I got to close this sale. But if I'm not trying to close a sale and I'm just talking to you, I'm just sharing stuff or just being me, you'll be attracted to me. You know I ain't trying to sell you nothing at that point. And that's what you do first. Now, when you become famous and you become visible, then you worry about building an authority platform, a place where people can come and get stuff directly from you. Then you can start to do that. And if you don't want to do that, you don't even have to have your own podcast or your own blog or anything like that. It's not necessary. A lot of platforms, like I said, always want contributors. So what you got to do is find multiple contributors, for example, and always be on those platforms. You see a lot of these Entrepreneur Magazine contributors, Forbes Magazine contributors, Beauty Magazine contributors, all of these people, that's exactly what they're doing. They're building authority platforms and other platforms. If you were to investigate a lot of those people, they don't have their own podcasts or their own blogs, but they're always out there on other authority platforms. Did you want to ask something?
No, I'm in. So my next question basically is, I like what you're saying, but I right in the middle of all that, I feel the pain.
Okay.
Because yes, it's great.
I hope I didn't cause the pain.
No, the pain is already there because I know from my audience. I know about the people I'm coaching right now.
Right.
And the pain is there. They know, but I think some of them know that it's a long-term issue, but there's pain there because they need something now.
Yeah.
We're in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of us have lost our jobs or we're suffering. We're working part-time at different things. Yep. And we're trying to reach back to our jobs that we really don't want to be at. So there's pain all around, mentally, financially, emotionally. And yeah, we need to start something where we need to have some kind of revenue now. So it's a constant struggle because you want to build it over time, but you need money right now. You need something sustainable because they really want to do this. but it's hard.
Yeah.
How do you respond to
I
that?
got a couple of answers for that.
Okay.
Every time I go on air, if I go on a radio show or a TV show and I'm talking about my strategies and not just this, I got a whole bunch of them. I get that question a lot. And here's the thing that a lot of people got to understand, and they have to understand it today. Now, when the pandemic happened, when it hit, there was 3 levels of people, 3 levels of businesses. There were businesses that got hit and they didn't even know they got hit. They didn't even feel it. I'm in the food business part-time. I kind of hang around with a lot of these restaurants, and I do some Uber driving and DoorDash, and I do that, to get around. I travel around, the state of Virginia because of that. And it's fun. And I meet a lot of restaurant owners, and I get them talking, and we get talking. It's a nice way to meet business people too. And I met 3 different types of restaurant owners. I bumped into this guy at a pizza parlor, and I was like, so how is business? How is it going? And he said, man, business has never been better. We're doing at least 30% more. Things are booming right now. During the pandemic. I asked another business owner. He says, well, it's kind of in the middle. I'm not really sure if we're going to be here tomorrow. I don't know how it's, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
That's level 2. They don't really know how it goes. If they don't get any stimulus money, they're probably going down.
Yeah.
And then you have the 3rd level. Ain't no amount of stimulus money going to help them out. They were in a bad place to start with. They weren't building their business right to start with before the pandemic hit. They didn't have a good customer base. They didn't put technology in place to help them, sustain themselves outside of the norm. So I met this 3rd restaurant owner, and his restaurant was completely empty, as all restaurants are, but he was hardly making any sales online and, getting food orders. So I asked him, I said, so what's going on? Everybody else is getting food orders. And he said, well, we never had online delivery to start with. So when the pandemic hit, we had nowhere to start off from. So this is the problem, is you got to prepare before you feel the pain.
Right.
When you go to a doctor and you say, and I hate to use this example, but I just want to bring it home and make it real.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you got a medical problem and it's going to take 2 years to fix, you go to the doctor and you say, doctor, I need this medical problem fixed today. The doctor will tell you, well, you got to start exercising. It's going to take you a while. You're already in that problem. It's a little too late for you to come up here and try to tell me to, fix you. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great point.
Yeah, that happens in business, but I'm going to share some good news. Okay. The pain is there. Maybe you didn't prepare well for the pandemic and all of that. Maybe you've been trying to prepare and you just didn't get it right. Whatever it is, I got a little secret to share. This is when you do what we call community building. You have a situation where you need to get out there now, today. But you see what's going on out there? There's a lot of business people out there, and they're trying to do it alone. They're trying to fix it on their own. I can fix this. That is a major problem for most business owners. Let me use an example real quick. The guys that built Google, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. It wasn't one man. The guys that built Facebook, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like 8 founders. It wasn't one guy with one idea. And a problem that a lot of small business owners have is we think small. I can do it. I can do everything on my own. and that becomes a major problem when you're in a pain situation like this, right? Yeah. So here's a simple strategy that you could use today. And you could see results as fast as 7 days to 30 days from now. I don't like to teach those kind of strategies because it's a get answers quick strategies, right? But if people are in pain, you got to try to help them out. Look for similar-minded, similar strategy, similar niche businesses online or in your community, and create situations where you can interview each other for each other's audiences. So say you come together with 15 to 30 or 40 to 50 people, and you have a schedule where you are on. Remember, I told you about becoming famous, becoming visible. And the first strategy that I talked about was you going out there and just, going on people's podcasts and leaving. But now you have your podcast, and every day somebody from your circle, your community comes on your podcast, and every day you go on another podcast from people in that community. Trust me, people are going to take notice.
Yeah.
You're going to start to see results almost immediately, because everybody's going to be like, oh, who are these 50 people, talking every day together and, doing stuff. I'm interested in what you're doing over there. That could bring you some immediate authority. I don't like to teach strategies like that because it makes people lazy. But if you're in pain and you got to solve the pain today, use the multiplier effect. Don't try to go it alone. Look for people in pain like you, people who have good value to share, and help each other grow. So does that answer your question? At least a little bit?
That does. I know we're up against it here, but I want to answer one more question here.
Okay.
Because you're going into a question that you really can't answer this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a whole another half an hour, basically.
Right.
And maybe it's something that we teach. If you want to go into the Authority Builders Academy, which I created, please go there, because we're gonna maybe show something. Maybe you can do something in there in that group, possibly.
Okay.
But it's just like when you're going to do this process, I think some people are scared to get in there because maybe they don't have anything to offer. Yeah. They don't have a product. They don't have a service. They don't know what to offer.
Right.
So they haven't got to that point where they develop anything great, or they don't think they have anything great. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm coaching some people right now who are just like, they have degrees, they have this thing here, but they didn't even know that they should be getting out there at all. They're afraid. Yeah. So can you speak to people just like getting to the point where they have something to give or to offer, or how to even go into that process of doing that?
Well, the first thing is you got to want to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't want to do it, there's nothing I can say that's going to help you.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can say. I know there's an adage in my country and in other languages. They say you can force a horse to the water. You can never force that horse to drink the water. Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
So if somebody watching this or listening to this feels, I don't feel like I'm ready, I don't believe in myself enough, I don't think I have anything to offer, well, what I say is I give you a kick in the backside is you got to figure it out, and you got to figure it out today. There's another very funny saying we have back home in Nigeria. They say, when you get really hungry, when you get really down, you'll figure out what your talent is.
Yeah.
If you're still sitting back thinking, oh, I don't really know what to do, you ain't hungry. You ain't hungry yet. So you got to get yourself really hungry to want it. You got to be really ready to do whatever it takes. I told you I do DoorDash and Grubhub drives. It's not because I want to, but I look at it and I say to myself, this is a smart move. I will meet 20 new business owners every single day doing that. Wow. And I get paid to do that. Right. Driving around the entire state of Virginia, meeting people every day. I'm honing my customer service skills doing that. Hello, how are you today? You having a good day today? Here's your order. Is there anything else you'd like me to do for you? I'm training myself. I don't want to do that, but I'm hungry. And because I'm hungry, I'm going to do whatever it takes to push out and get noticed. It's extremely important. And that's what the key is. I don't know. Does that answer the question at all?
Yep, it answers the question, and we can go further, but we're up against it.
Right.
We have to get a part two to bridge the sales, I think.
I don't mind. I didn't actually finish the bridge to sales. There's two more steps, unfortunately.
I know that too. But yeah, we're gonna have to maybe have a part two to the bridge to sales for sure.
I'd be very honored to do that.
And I'm very honored to have you on here.
Thank you.
I hope everybody got something out of that. that, please, please. I don't know if you want. I know we talked about this earlier about connecting to you. Do you have someplace you have anything to connect to you, Kunle? If it's just a Facebook profile or
I really
something.
don't want you to connect to me.
But if that,
But if you wanna follow me or connect to me, I'm on Facebook at that name on the screen, Kunle Olomofe. You can send me a friend request. I'm happy to, and that's one of the next steps that I was going to talk about in authority marketing. Has to do with relationship building. You got to do that first before you try to sell. It's important.
Oh yeah.
But we don't have enough time for that.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll resume on the next episode. But I appreciate it, everybody. Check us out there on the Facebook group Authority Builders Academy, where we try to get you clear on your authority. And Kunle is there right there as well. So I'm sure he'll answer your questions in there as well.
I'll be happy to.
About being clear on what your authority is, and then we help you develop that authority so you can sell what you're great at.
That's right.
And it's important to have that authority ingrained in you, because it's just it's hard enough already to try to sell. But if you don't believe in what you're selling, if you don't believe in your authority, then you really have no business, and no business being out there.
100% agree with that.
So that is it. That is a wrap for this episode today. Thank you for coming in and sharing and listening to this. Please get a hold of us, and we will say goodbye for now. This is the Authority Project.